Ban, make new account, go back in. Ban, new account, go back in. Rinse, repeat, rinse, fucking repeat. One of the most controversial entries on this list. Genuinely terrible. Good afternoon, everyone. I am your host, Fjarn, and today I chose to bring you guys a sort of a different kind of video. Now, you guys have seen me talk about many VR chat topics and the impacts they made on the game. If you haven't, I would highly recommend you do, not just because they are very interesting, but also because they take multiple days of research footage and editing to make. Lord save my soul. But today I thought I would give you my own personal opinions on some of these topics, some of which I haven't even covered yet in any of my videos. Now, this is a tier list video, so I'm going to give you the criteria as to how I rank these. This universal criteria is: how did this event, update, or individual change VR chat? Did this thing make the game better, or did it make it worse in the long term? Now, the reason I said universal criteria is that because we have events, individuals, and updates, I also decided to put in entry-specific criteria. So let me explain them. In the case of updates, it is, did this update make sense at the time? For example, was VRChat's decision to remove plugins from the game an understandable decision at the time for achieving the goal that they were trying to, well, achieve? In the case of individuals, does or did their actions make sense? Do they have good intentions, and are their methods good or bad? And events are just how they affect the game long term. There isn't really a specific criteria you could assign to these guys. Now, I know this is a little confusing, so to make it a little easier to follow, I will put in the top right of the screen what each entry falls under. Anyways, that's enough with the long intro, and I do genuinely hope you enjoy the video. So first up, we have the age verification system. I actually really do like the age verification system. It ensures that dumbass 5-year-olds don't literally ruin lobbies, but you know, they still do because most lobbies aren't age verified. But those who are, I can guarantee are much better. The thing is, I can't go in them because I'm not 18 or older. I am 16. You know, it made the game better. However, the issue is still there, and I see it every time I play this game. And, you know, I'd put it in. I really don't know, because age verified servers also create a haven for the most disgusting, deplorable acts to occur on the platform. So I'll put it in okay. You know, it's just, to me, it wasn't really, you know, like notable. It did create better things. I would also make things worse in some aspects. And me, it didn't really influence both on either side, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. So next up, we have VRChat Plus. So I genuinely think this is probably one of the best features they added, because not only from like a business standpoint, because it gave them a clear way to make money instead of avatars, which people honestly already weren't paying for anyways, but also add a lot of features that I use a lot. Camera dollies, I use a lot. I mean, for the intro of the channel, I use camera dollies to make the shots. Lots of gallery features, groups is a big one. Allows you to do that. So honestly, I'd put it in made the game far better, because just generally it has so many features that I think are very useful to not only the average user, but also just content creators like me. And then now we have the Ugandan Knuckles era. Now, this might be possibly like the most chaotic era in VRChat. Essentially, it was the era between, I believe it was November and December 2018 to around February 2019. That's when this occurred. You know, these guys go into lobbies, and you know, the player count soared. I'm actually gonna go search up the player counts. Hold on. Yes, right here. Yeah. So December 2017, my bad. December 2017 to February 2018. Look at those player count increases. That is insane. From November to January, 300 players to nearly 10,000, and a peak of 20,000. This arguably brought the game to the spotlight and made it so that it would be the size that it would be known for today. But honestly, it created so much chaos that basically made it a literal troll fest. But you know, trolling is funny. But it did create an iconic meme, so I'll put it in okay, I guess. I'll put it above age verification. So next we have the inclusion of the game on Quest 2. Made it so you could play VRChat on Quest 2. It was originally on Quest 1, but Quest 2 is where it really blew up. This is where I first actually got interested in VR, and I would first buy a Quest 2 in 2023, I believe. 2023, yeah. It was pretty good. It did bring in a lot of kids, but it also made VRChat a lot of money, which, you know, say what you want. A free game like VRChat needs a lot of money to run. I'll put it in pretty good. You can make a case for it being right here, or even right here because of all the kids that got into it, but I'm gonna put it in right here. I think the inclusion of the Quest 2 was overall a very good trait. Not better than VRC+. Alright, now we have perhaps one of the most controversial entries on this list. ProximityChat as a person, yes. I put him on this list I put him on this list as an event. He is that influential. I actually don't think he's that bad. Genuinely, I don't think he's that bad. I think people just overhate him. And let's not forget that ProximityChat also kind of like brought many people to this game. He's kind of the reason why I got back into this game to begin with. I will admit though, some of his trolling can be a bit far, but most of it isn't even really that much trolling. You see it time and time again, a lot of the people are just genuinely in the head. I don't think I'm crazy for saying that. So I don't think he made the game far better, but I'll put it in pretty good. Very, very controversial ranking, I know. Next we have group features, and yes, this is part of VRC+, but thing is, to me, groups just are so influential beyond just the subscription. Groups made the game far better, genuinely made the game awesome, because it meant that you could hang out with people that, you know, shared your interests. And let's be honest, without stuff like groups, you wouldn't have stuff like Virality, which I went to Virality. It was pretty fun. I gotta admit, it was kind of good. It was kind of fun. Okay? It was kind of fun. Sue me. But, you know, yeah, like, they made it so you could talk to other people. I have my own group. It allows me to post content to the people that I already knew before I started the channel to begin with. It's just overall a great feature. But I'm going to keep it I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to put it above VRC Plus as a whole. Actually, doesn't really make much sense now that I think about it. Alright, next up. Possibly the worst feature I have ever seen in this game. Genuinely dog shit. Whoever thought the easy anti-cheat system was a good idea should have been fired. In case you don't know what EAC did, it is because, okay, so let me give you some context. Before, I believe it was 2021, 2022 that EAC was released, people used plugins for many things. People, you know, use plugins. What they did is that they basically made it so that you could, like, make it so that subtitles showed up. They made it so your game would run better, add avatars. However, plugins were also used for trolls for stuff like crashing, DDoS attacks, and as mentioned in in my previous video, some psychopaths would make it so that you couldn't block avatars. So you could hypothetically just have a guy with his penis, and you either have to leave or you just have to deal with it. And while yes, EAC blocked stuff like that, it also blocked many features that people needed, especially people with disabilities, which there's an entire article on that aspect. So genuinely, this is the worst thing. Genuinely the worst thing. It's the only time in VRChat's history where both regular players and trolls banded together and literally review bombed VRChat. Overwhelmingly negative. I believe it was 30,000 reviews. Overwhelmingly negative. Anyways, moving on. The VRChat trust and safety system. Now, I'm not really sure if this is an event or just like an aspect of the game, but genuinely made the game far better. I don't think this is really a surprise, honestly. It literally makes it so that I don't have to see a dick. You know, trolling is funny, especially when you just have like Joseph Stalin and maybe Adolf. Okay, maybe not that far. To me, this just made us say, if you don't want to see trolls, you don't have to see trolls. That's what made it. That's what made it great in my opinion. Now we got the creator economy. Now, the creator economy to me, it wasn't that influential. It gave people an incentive to make avatars, and it basically created the foundation for stuff like virality. But to me, it wasn't really influential enough to really change the foundation of the game for the average player, because let's be honest, most people don't pay for avatars. I'm actually gonna put that in okay, I guess. That's all. I'll put it right there. Next up, we have the Steam release of VRChat. You see, this actually, to me, made the game just, I'd say, it didn't really, you know what? See, I am a PC user. If it wasn't released on Steam, then I wouldn't really be able to make these videos because I don't like giving footage that looks like shit. So as a whole, it did bring in clients. It brought in all the client issues and all of that stuff, but those clients also would help other people play the game. I'll put it in pretty good. You could make a case for this. In fact, I'm gonna move this stuff around. That should be right there. I'll put that right there. I'll actually put the Steam release ahead of that. And yeah, creator economy can stay right there. Age verification will go up here. Nope, not there. There. Perfect. Alright, so now we have stuck inside. I'm going to assume that that's referring to COVID-19. So COVID-19 basically forced everyone to stay inside, which caused the game to essentially, like, explode. Going back to the Steam charts, let's take a look. March of 2020 was when the lockdown occurred, I'm pretty sure. Insane player growth. To me, this was a lot more controlled, though. And the devs actually had a time to react to this. It wasn't like an EAC situation where everything could have been avoided if they had just, you know, thought with their brain and not their asshole. Overall, the pandemic didn't really hurt VR chat, although it did bring in a lot of trolls and did bring into highlight just so many shitty people. And because of that, we did end up getting a more broader look at so many of the worst parts of this game. So you know what? I'll put it in okay. I'll put it in okay. I'll put it above the creator economy, but I'm going to put it below the Ugandan Knuckles era. You see, this next entry is interesting because this just occurred. Thing is, I'm already seeing the effects of it. People are already dressing up in Rec Room avatars in VR chat. And overall, they're actually really good. I don't know what it is, but most Rec Room kids that play this game now are genuinely just chill. I don't understand, because I've seen so many bad Rec Room clips of like the worst of the worst. I'll put it at the very top of okay, I guess. Because while it does bring in many bad kids, I will say it is definitely much better than all of these three things. Next, we have Crashers. Crasher avatars. Essentially just the introduction of them as a whole, which occurred in around 2019, I believe. These things are fucking annoying. Look, they can be funny every now and then when you just see your screen just flash white. But when you see them over and over and over again and realize just how easy they are to get, I can guarantee if you went on GitHub, you could easily find like 50 of these things. But they can be pretty funny, and it's not nearly as bad as EAC. So I'm gonna put them in made the game worse. And oh boy, moderation. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting one. Depending on who you are, you're gonna have a wildly different opinion on what moderation is. I genuinely fucking despise the moderation in this game. It is so fucking bad. I have genuinely never seen a more poorly moderated game in my fucking life. Roblox is better than this game. And Roblox is currently fighting a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit over this exact issue. The fact that VR chat is even still running despite the sheer moderation issues, to me is beyond me. Genuinely terrible. First of all, literally the second day I came back, this was, I believe, March 14th that I came back, because I came back this year, March 14th. The second day, I immediately see a sticker with someone's literally being shoved up the. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Around a kid, by the way. This kid was like no more than 9. Reported it. This guy is still fucking here. I'm not going to give out his username because, you know, it's not even really worth it at this point if they're not going to do anything. I literally had footage of this guy showing just shit, a penis. Not to mention the fact that there's literally, I'm not sure if this falls under moderation, but I'm gonna call it that. There's no repercussions for doing stupid shit. You get banned, you make a new account, you go back in. Ban, make new account, go back in. Ban, new account, go back in. Rinse, repeat, rinse, fucking repeat. There's nothing stopping you. There's genuinely nothing stopping you. Because there's nothing. You can get hardware. You don't get hardware banned. If you get banned, you make a new account, you go back in. It is simple. Genuinely basically ruined the game. Though not as bad as EAC though, but these are two very competing contenders right here. So yeah, that was my list. If you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments, honestly. That's basically it. That's all I ask. See ya. Fuck moderators in this game, and fuck easy anti-cheat.